If I had a rib flare, this is what I would do. I made a previous video about the rib flare, and it was one of my most popular videos, and people were constantly asking what to do about it. Although I discussed it a little bit in that video, I want to break it down even further to explain the process of what I would do in order to overcome a rib flare. Hi, I'm Alex Effer, founder of Resilient Training and Rehab, and I've helped thousands of coaches and clinicians get faster and more consistent results with their clients. Let's get into it. So before we get into the individual joints, what it impacts, we need to take a higher level approach to understanding what causes the rib flare. So the rib flare is essentially, if you don't know what it is, it's when I open up my rib cage, and that's going to happen because I am arching through my lower back or through my lower part of the rib cage. So essentially what's happening is I'm getting a push from behind and everything is opening. And when everything opens like that, that's going to put my shoulders in a different position. That's going to impact shoulder mobility and hip mobility. But what happens with this is the reason why this happens is because I need to produce a certain amount of motion at the hips or at the foot in order to manage gravity. I've got this constant force of gravity always on me that is pushing me into the ground. Think of it as similar to having a barbell on your back. And the barbell is constantly pushing you down, so I have to push myself up against it. In order to push myself up against it, I need to have internal rotation of my hips, pronation of the foot, which is the arch going down. If I don't have that, then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push my body towards my toes, so it makes it easier for me to do that. And when that happens, I'm gonna arch through my lower back. But with some people, depending on their genetic makeup in terms of their rib cage or their pelvis, some people being more broader, some people being a little bit more narrower, I'm gonna arch more through the lower part of my rib cage or through my lower back. And the people who arch through the lower part of the rib cage, it's quite apparent that when they lay on their back, their ribs are poking out of their shirt. And so, again, center of gravity is pushing me forward. That's the first thing that's going to happen. So I need to have exercises in order to shift that center of mass back. The first exercise I'm going to do is going to be a prone supported inversion exercise. Now, I've shown this exercise in the past where I'm inverting my body. So essentially the principle is if my hips are above my head, every time I breathe in, I'm going to open up my rib cage even more, especially the upper part of the rib cage and the lower part of the rib cage, because it's just going to decompress everything. By putting my lower rib cage on the bench, I'm going to further make sure that I'm opening up the lower part of my rib cage. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 yoga blocks, put it underneath my knees. That's going to have me slightly elevated above the bench. Now, I'm pretty tall, so some people may need to put 2 yoga blocks just to be able to get into that position. Then what you're going to do is you're going to fold over the bench, and the bench is going to be where your stomach is and the lower part of your rib cage. I'm then going to drop my elbows on the ground. Okay, so again, some people may need to potentially elevate their arms a little bit, and I'm going to have my elbows in a V position. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get tall through my shoulders. I don't want to just collapse down, just get tall through the shoulders. Take a big breath in through my nose. And you should feel a lot of stretching going through the lower rib cage and the upper back. And then you're going to breathe out, hold the position. Take a big breath in as I get tall. A lot of stretching the lower part of the rib cage, and then breathe out. Again, by inverting myself, it's going to shift my center of mass back towards my heels, open up the lower rib cage, open up the back part of the hip. So again, if I'm arching through that lower back, it's also going to bring that back. And just to shift everything back so that I don't have as much tension going through the back side of my body. The second thing I'm thinking about when it comes to rib flare is opening up in between the shoulder blades. So a lot of times, again, when I've got that rib flare, my shoulder blades are going to start to squeeze, again, pushing me even more forward. So what I need to think about is opening up this backside. By doing that, it's going to allow me to restore the ability to externally rotate the shoulder, so go backwards, because if my shoulder blade's already squeezed, I'm not going to be able to externally rotate more. So I need the shoulder blade to be able to move as I'm externally rotating. Because the rib is flaring forward, it's going to put my shoulder blades in a position that doesn't allow that motion to happen. So if I can restore that, then I'm going to be able to, again, allow that center of gravity to shift back, but also restore some motion at the shoulder to allow for rotation to come back at the rib cage. So what we're gonna do to open up the shoulder blades, but also again, really maintain that rib cage position, is we're gonna lay on our back, we're gonna put our feet on the bench and do a low reaching exercise. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a pad. So this could be the ab mat, this could be a half foam roller, it could be a towel, a pillow, anything to support your lower back. So what we're gonna try to do is put this on the tag of our pants. Oftentimes when people lay on their back, they start arching and flaring their rib cage again. So by bringing the tag of the pants up towards us, it just allows us to make sure the ribs can stay back a bit more. So I'm going to set up by putting the tag of my pants on the pad, and I'm gonna put my feet on top of a bench. So you can see my knees are about 90 degrees, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my feet together and I'm gonna open up my knees. A lot of times when people have a rib flare, everything is externally rotating and turning out. And so I wanna put them in a position where I get them started in more of this externally rotated position. So when I'm reaching, everything is gonna start to come back towards the middle. So have the tag of my pants gently pressing without using my stomach muscles into the ground. I'm gonna have my knees just nice and open, the inside of my feet together. I'm then gonna take both hands and I'm gonna reach them and rest them on either part of my inner thigh, or either side of my inner thigh. I'm then gonna I'm gonna tilt my head back slightly so I'm not crunching my neck. I'm gonna take a big breath in as I reach my arms, not letting my head go, but keeping my head nice and relaxed. Breathe out, push my heels down to the bench. Breathe in, reach my arms a little further, keeping my back against the ground, my shoulder blades that are moving only. And then breathe out, push down. I'm just gonna keep on repeating this movement, 6 reps. And I feel a nice big stretch in my lower rib cage as well as my upper back. So the third thing I'm going to be thinking about, which is related to the previous two, is restoring internal rotation, not just at the hip, but at the shoulder. As I mentioned to you, one of the reasons why our center of gravity goes forward is because we don't have the ability to fight against gravity or produce force into the ground. So what we do is we just shift our weight towards our toes instead. So now, if we can start to restore the ability to internally rotate the hip, we're not going to need our body to travel forward. The other thing is when people go into extension and they don't have that ability, which is just another way of producing force, they just arch through the lower back or through the lower rib cage as well. So if I can put force into the ground and keep the rib cage back at the same time, then I'm going to be able to decrease the need for a rib flare. So the exercise we're going to do is going to be a front foot elevated split squat with a zercher hold. The reason why I like doing a zercher hold, and especially putting the band lower, is if I have my elbows slightly lower, the band's gonna pull me forward on that angle. So what I naturally have to do is I have to shift my rib cage back, because otherwise I'm just gonna be folding forward. So I'm gonna shift my rib cage back. It's gonna keep my back open. By doing the front foot elevated position, it's gonna naturally open up the back of my hip and get me to start back towards my heel. As you can see, I'm not over top of my foot. I'm actually gonna rest my body on the back leg to start. I'm then gonna lock in the inside part of my foot, allow my elbows to reach forward without crunching or without losing height. Take a big breath in here. I'm gonna breathe out as I go down into the split squat. Take a big breath into this bottom position. Breathe out, come back up. Now when I come back up, I'm not gonna shift my weight back. I'm gonna stay slightly over top, but as you can see, my knee and shin are behind my ankle. So it's gonna keep me back a little bit the entire time. So it allows me to produce force without arching my back to do so. So you can have your arms crossed, you have your hands together. Either one, I prefer my palms facing towards me so I get more external rotation. Again, I'm just gonna breathe out as I go down, breathe in, breathe out as I come up. So in this video, we talked about 3 different ways that somebody can have a rib flare or what contributes to a rib flare, as well as 3 different exercises in order to address that from a principle based. If you want to learn more about compensations like this, check out my Evolve Biomechanics mentorship. We talk about compensations, what to do, how assessment limitations would show up with each individual compensation, and then you apply that to different case studies so that we can really start to lock in these principles. So if you're interested, click the link below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, save, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.